Hello and welcome to Red State Radio, a Dead by Daylight podcast. I am one of your hosts, Bryson, and I'm joined by Stevie.
Hello.
And Maddie.
Hello.
Thank you all for being here. We're just going to jump right into this episode because we have a pretty meaty episode. It's, as you've guessed by the title, we're talking about our Dream Chapters. This is episode 5. This is something we've wanted to do for a long time. Everyone who plays DbD has a list of Dream Chapters, and we're going to rank our top 5. I have so many, so it was kind of hard to narrow down my top 5, but I'm really eager to get into it. However, we have a little bit of small news that I wanted to touch on today because I think it's really interesting and kind of related to DbD. So today, there was a trailer for Clive Barker's Hellraiser Revival trailer, which is a single-player survival action horror game coming from Saber Interactive. They're publishing and developing this. So if you're unfamiliar with Saber Interactive, this is from the devs behind the Evil Dead game, which shut down a few months ago or about a year ago. They're also working on the yeah, rest in peace. I played that game when they gave it away for free on Epic Games and really enjoyed it for my time there. I spent about 30-ish hours.
Be a common theme. Great. Saber makes good games. All the games they make, not just the Evil Dead game, right? Which other ones have they made?
They're also in the process of developing the Jurassic Park survival game, which was announced a couple of years ago. We don't really know much about that, but I'm very much looking forward to that. That's supposed to play similar to Alien Isolation. But they also have done World War Z, which I've heard really good things about.
I had a great time with World War Z when I played it. And I had played it before they did like Game of the Year Edition, all their finished DLCs. If you play it now, it's all bundled together and you have all the DLC content just in the base game. So the way they handled that game is phenomenal. Pretty sure Saber also did the Space Marine 40K game, the sequel.
They did, yes.
They didn't do the first one, however, but after THQ shut down and sold all their licenses to different studios scattered to the wind, Saber picked up the Space Marine license, and I think they did a really good job with it.
They're also working on the new Turok game, which is like a open world survival co-op game. I think they announced last year at, I want to say, the Game Awards, maybe. I can't remember, but they're also working on that. So they have a couple of dinosaur games in the development. But yeah, I just want to read a quick Steam description, and then I'll kind of get everyone's thoughts. Experience a new chapter in the legendary horror series like never before. Clive Barker's Hellraiser Revival takes first-person action horror survival to the next level. Wield the powers of the Genesis configuration puzzle box to survive your bargain with the infamous Pinhead. And so we got a cinematic trailer today along with some very quick gameplay. Stevie, I'll jump to you first. What'd you think of it?
I watched it this morning. My friends were all kind of crazy excited about it. My friends are horror fans more than they're DbD fans, so it makes sense. However, I think this game's looking pretty cute. First-person, single-player, story-driven game. That's a great way to do horror. That's a great way to do a movie tie-in. You're not constrained to having to make Pinhead work in a multiplayer setting. He can just be the scary bad guy, and you can have an original character you play as. The gameplay from the trailer looked a lot like Agony is what I probably first likened it to in my head, if I'm remembering the name of that game right, where it was just the, walk through hell simulator.
Yes, oh my
that's
god.
That's what Hellraiser's kind of all about. It's let's take you on a trip, show you sight.
Absolutely.
The difference, though, is that in this game, you can actually fight back unlike in Agony, because you kind of just hid from demons.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, this game looked like it had a lot of, almost like, I want to say like Doom executioners, kind of like I saw at one point you have the configuration box in your hand, and you smash it against, I presume, a demon's head, and a chain rips around it and cuts it in half or whatever. Like, that looks really sick, and you have, like, these other types of weapons. So, yeah, it looks really good. It looks really gory. The cinematic even has, like, nudity in it, which I thought was hilarious. I was really caught off guard. I was like, oh, wow. But it's completely expected.
This is Hellraiser with a lot of adult themes.
Yes.
Let's not have Hellraiser's PG.
No.
Maddie, what'd you think of it?
You don't know the amount of joy I had when I saw it wasn't another asymmetrical horror game. Because the amount of times I heard a license was doing a big game, and I was like, ooh, this looks interesting. And then it's like, we're Dead by Daylight, but instead of generators, we do this. And I was like, okay, never mind. Like, I
It
was
is
so
a
excited to see it
theme.
was single player and a more
It is a
story driven.
theme.
Because I'm a lore whore. I love myself some lore. And to be honest, a lot of multiplayer games don't really have lore. So I was really excited to see that this one's a bit more focused on telling a story. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this.
And if anyone is unfamiliar, Clive Barker is the writer of the original novella of this. Presumably, he is involved in this development of this game. His name is the beginning of this. He also
I hope so.
like he also wrote and directed the original movie. So that's great. And if anyone is unfamiliar why we're talking about this, Pinhead, Hellraiser is no longer in DbD. He left about a month ago. The reason being, presumably, when DbD got the license, they worked with the previous license holders, and they were with them for about 2 months. And then Clive Barker sued that license holder to get them back. He acquired it, and so I guess there was a time limit on how much DbD would have that license, and it eventually ran out. And I'm presumably don't think he's interested in renewing it because the people beforehand wanted to do like NFTs. There was the whole NFT cosmetic debacle with
God.
DbD that ended up getting canceled, and then all those cosmetics didn't come to DbD, which is unfortunate. So yeah, I don't think we'll see Pinhead again in DbD, but I'm very excited to see it get a revival in a single player survival horror game. That is incredible. This also is canon. I looked at the Steam page a little bit. They mentioned it is canon within the Hellraiser universe. So that's really cool. If you haven't seen the original Hellraiser, I'd highly recommend it. 2 is also pretty okay for a sequel. And then of course I'd recommend the novella as well. So highly recommend
I could give a
them.
shout out
Do
to
not watch the movie with your parents. It is
Don't
very
watch with your
awkward.
parents. You'll have to explain a lot to them.
Yeah, you'd be like, Mom, no, there's a reason why this guy's butt-ass naked on the screen. It's very integral to the lore.
And gory. So if you can't deal with gore, it's also really good gore. Like it's creepy and it's weird and it's uncomfortable. It's great.
It's a fantastic atmosphere for the good Hellraiser movies.
Yes.
In the later end of the franchisation of it, it got really bad. I will give a nod to the 2022. Yes, that's when it went. Hulu released the remake with Jamie Clayton, and she is a fantastic Pinhead.
Yes,
agreed.
That movie is great.
Let's just don't forget about the last movie where the Lament configuration was turned into a space station, ? Spoilers.
Oh, God. Oh, no. I didn't know about that. I've not seen those later movies.
No, it was a choice.
Yeah, so that's cool. That's kind of a little bit of news we wanted to cover. Like I mentioned, we cover like small news related to DbD that's somewhat adjacent, so very much looking forward to that. But now let's get to the top of the show, our top 5 Dream Chapters. This episode will cover our Dream Chapters, both licensed and original, so they might have some themes or they might have some origins that we'll get into. A listener a few weeks back, Christopher, you sent us an email with several questions, one of which was our Dream Chapter, what that was. Additionally, you asked what time periods we'd like to see adapted into an original chapter. We're going to be covering some of that. Christopher mentioned in his email he'd love to see a Greek mythology chapter. I'm all for that. As someone who loves Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and there's a lot of mythology adapted within there. Living in that world, it's phenomenal. So I'm all for that. That's a great pick, and we don't really have a ton in the game currently around that time. So with both of these questions in mind, we'll get into our lists, but first I wanted to cover a little something. Have any of us had a Dream Chapter in DbD already? So I'm going to go to you first, Maddie, just because I know the answer. Have you had a Dream Chapter come to DbD already?
Believe it or not, but yes, I have. And you would not believe it, but it's the Five Nights at Freddy's chapter.
Of course.
Woo! But yeah, that was like
Great pick.
my number one for so long. I was like, Springtrap will be in the game next chapter, promise. And then it was like Pinhead, and I was like, oh.
A lot of
happy.
It's like,
So
oh my god,
happy
you guys,
for
you don't get it. The pins don't mean Pinhead. It means Springtrap because they're pins in the Springtrap suit. You gotta get it. But yeah, I was very much on copium the entire time. Anytime any licensed chapter was announced, I was like, it could be FNAF, and then there was never FNAF. So when it finally got announced, I legit was so giddy. I couldn't sleep for like a couple nights because I was so hyped. But yeah, that was my number one most. So a lot of my ever wanted are more original because a lot of the licenses that I do want are already in, or they're just never going to be added because they're just not going to make sense. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about you, CV?
I'm in a similar mind to that boat. My dreams are kind of, I want them to do something crazy with original killers because it's not about
Ooh.
adapting license perfectly. It's about creating this power, creating a space for this new character to exist in that fills kind of a gap. Kind of like how Trapper comes out, immediately followed by the stealth killer who changes the dynamic, and now they're no longer a scary killer, it's a sneaky killer. So sometimes there's a killer that's missing, and behavior knows how to kind of fill that hole. Everyone's praying for a robot killer, and Singularity comes out, but I think my dream is still waiting. Some of the licenses are really cool, but I don't know. It hasn't been hit yet.
Yeah, yeah. For myself, I have had a dream chapter. My dream chapter for the longest time was Alien. That was adapted, and I remember seeing the trailer come out for it, and I got giddy. I was squealing like a schoolgirl. I was running up and down the hallway because I was so excited. It was a moment, and I will cherish it for the rest of my life. And I really, really am so hyped. We got Alien, and you'll kind of see why my number one for tonight is adjacent to Alien. I would say you could say I'm a fan of sci-fi horror, but yeah, loved Alien and super thrilled. Pretty happy with the chapter. I think it could have been better in some ways, but I think they did pretty well. I think the offering should be changed to a facehugger, but it's some sliding doors that you throw into a fire. That really makes sense to me. Doesn't it, behavior?
You don't know?
Right.
Cheryl can carry that heavy-ass 200-pound door. It's
And they burn up in the fire, canonically. Sure.
It should have been a facehugger. I will die on that hill, especially since facehuggers weren't really introduced anywhere else in the chapter other than the map jump scare, but I digress. With that said, let's get into our top 5 dream chapters. We're going to do this round robin style. We're all going to start with our number 5s and work our way down to number 1. Stevie, we're going to start with you. What is your number 5 dream chapter?
Number 5. Mine kind of ties in a little bit with Christopher's question from a week or two ago. I've always liked the Greek mythology chapters the cosmetics, just the charms and the skins. Mm-hmm. We need something concrete. Like, I like the idea of Oni being a minotaur. He, keeps you in the trial and goes around the maze and stalks you down. But I want like an original character from Greek mythology. So I've chosen the Cyclops from Greek myth.
So cool.
Polyphemus. If any Odyssey heads are in listening right now, Polyphemus is the Cyclops that Odysseus finds on one of his little island jaunts. But Polyphemus kind of is just a shepherd, the son of Poseidon, and some nymph or some goddess of the sea. But Polyphemus is just a large human with no eyes, except one in the top of his forehead. And I think that would be a really scary killer to be stalking you around. A big, tall guy who's just angry at being blinded one time and looking for revenge. He just wants to go home.
Door?
How does he go through a door? He crouches down.
He ducks.
I'd love to see that.
Ducks.
I'd love to see a
cool.
sprinting animation on a killer where he has to crouch if he's
that'd be so cool.
Wait, no, that's actually terrifying though.
Ceiling.
Imagine being in chase and he's like on all fours trying to like crouch under the doors and he's still
as
a normal
and he
killer.
looks just enough like a naked guy that you're like, this is terrifying, but he has
just a loincloth.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that'd be terrifying.
Fucking P3 Polyphemus just throwing his fucking face around. It's scary.
No.
That's so crazy.
That's actually very scary. I don't like
a great
that.
choice for Greek mythology because it's like one they wouldn't expect, We already have a Gorgon charm. A harpy would kind of make sense. How do you put Scylla and Charybdis into the game? But Cyclops.
Yeah. The cosmetic options for other survivors too, like if they were to just a collection, would be unlimited. Like it'd be crazy.
Yes. My God.
Yeah.
Cerberus
Great time
cosmetic,
period.
the Dredge?
The Greek chapter is going to go crazy. It's inevitable.
Yes.
Do you have any concept for an ability or a power for the killer?
Not for this one. It's a little tough to come up with a power,
Right.
but like the power kind of makes the killer. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. I
Great
guess you
pick.
could say that this chapter concept is quite epic.
Nice. I see what you did there.
The Odyssey
Very
chapter.
nice.
I did kind of throw a little tag in there. If he comes full chapter, you throw Odysseus as the survivor, and then it's a perfect little chase.
Yeah.
He's getting
that'd be so
revenge.
cool.
He chased Odysseus into the fog, and he has to get home.
Would the map be like the island that Polyphemus is on?
that'd
With his
be
little cave
tough.
is like maybe the main
That'd be
building?
good. There's no real depictions unless you go by the some movies that have come out.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
You just generic island? That would make
Generic
sense.
island. We don't have
Yeah, we don't have an
island
island.
map.
Yeah, we don't have an
Exactly.
island.
The question is though, what would the exit gates be? Like, would it be a boat?
Oh, that'd be
Ooh.
so fun. Yes, it would absolutely. Like a
dock.
dock? Yeah, that'd be
Yes.
great. Oh, okay.
Oh god, the one and only time you can miss the exit. Everyone gets on the boat and leaves, and you're like, wait, how do I get off?
Oh, I love that. It'd be like Friday the 13th when you
Oh
could,
my god, you're right.
you know, repair a
Oh my
boat
God.
and fuel it and get out of there. Such a good pick. Maddie, let's jump to you. What is your number 5?
Okay, so mine's kind of a tie between licensed and original, just because I would be happy with either, and they're also both pretty similar, and that would be either a cryptid or Slenderman chapter. And the reason why I kind of put these two together is that I'm fully aware that due to the controversy of Slenderman with the two people who assaulted one of their friends because of the character Slenderman, they probably don't want to add that character. However, my counterpoint to that is that we do have Five Nights at Freddy's, and there was the drama with Scott Cawthon, so I could fully see them
True.
either adding or not adding Slenderman. However,
Yeah.
I would totally be okay with adding just a cryptid, which leads me to my second point. The reason why this is at number 5 is we already kind of have one with the Unknown, who really fills in that analog horror, more 2010s creepypasta form creatures of, have you seen this before? Ooh, be careful of the unknown kind of thing. So for the killer, I said it could just be any cryptid or Slenderman. It could be like a Sasquatch. It could be Chupacabra. It could be like, I don't know, Bloody Mary maybe. There's
Mothman?
just so many possibilities, and I just like cryptids in general, so it's pretty broad for me. However, my one map want, if it is Slenderman specifically, is to have the house from Slenderman Arrival on the Red Forest realm. I just think it would be so atmospheric and so cool, and it would just be so awesome. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I created a long list before when I was creating my 5. I created a long, exhaustive list of my top, I think it was like 20 or something. But everything I could think of across movies, games, etc. And cryptid was a theme of mine. And yeah, I'm totally with you. Slenderman is also very cool. He's been asked for a long time. People have wanted. I actually was like, oh, they could just throw Slenderman in there anytime. But then one day I looked up, I'm like, is Slenderman licensed? And he is, which I was really interesting because I know he kind of originates from creepypasta. So.
It's
Yeah,
a little
that's
difficult
really cool.
because if a license exists for creepypasta, it means somebody treated their work with enough respect to say, people like this, I am going to make it my own and put my name on it legally. So if somebody has that much care for their own creation, or they sold it off to somebody who can take care of the license, DVD has a harder time getting it.
Yeah.
But if it's unlicensed, DVD taking it might feel like they're just stealing someone's art. So it's a little tough. They kind of do have to go the original route. And I'd love to see another killer in the vein of the Unknown. Somebody who's also a don't think about it type of killer. Something.
The pee pee poo poo man. Oh my god.
That would be a fantastic
no.
one.
Or what was his name? The actual the Bye Bye Man.
The Bye Bye Man.
The Bye Bye Man.
The Bye Bye Man.
Don't say it, don't think it, don't say
That's
it.
funny. Ugh. Yeah, so I'm all for cryptid. I'm also, if it were to go another cryptid route, I'm all for the creature route because I think DVD needs more creatures. You know, Dredge, Demogorgon, Xeno, etc. Awesome creatures. Would love to see more.
Creatures,
Totally down for
definitely.
Abominable Snowman or Bigfoot or Mothman
Ooh,
or
Yeti.
some lizard
Mothman would be
dude.
so cool.
Oh,
Yeah, so a lot of good options there.
boy, that
They're
would be perfect.
they're endless, so it'd be cool. Cool. Well, I'll get into my number 5. Mine is themed around a time period, and that's Egyptian. I would love to see some kind of Egypt setting, or I don't really have a map concept for this, although they could probably adapt something into like Eyrie of Crows or some ruins or something. So, but
Eyrie of Crows would be a fantastic pyramid map.
Yeah, they could add a pyramid instead of that stupid shack in the middle of the new variant. Like I hate so much that I get.
Do you not like Dead
I never
Sands?
get. No, I don't. I do not.
Oh,
we don't need more. We don't need any more variants.
I love Dead Sands. Oh my god, I love shack maps.
I'm good. Oh god, I don't need more shack maps, please. Anyway, I'd love to see some kind of killer with Egyptian mythology through an original chapter. I actually looked into some possible routes they could maybe take that I thought sounded really cool and would lore-wise be reasonable for the entity to draw in. And one of them is Amit, and I don't know if I'm saying that right. Amit, Amut, something like that. Ammit. This translates to the devourer of the dead. It's essentially an ancient Egyptian goddess with the four quarters of a lion, the hindquarters of a hippo, and the head of a crocodile. Essentially, it was the three largest man-eating animals in Egypt at the time. I thought
hippos are no joke.
Oh my god, they're terrifying. They're absolutely terrifying. So, and you could, the killer could just be dubbed the Devourer. I think that would be really cool. However, I think upon more research, I think something like Aphosis, I think that's how you say it, Aphos. Aphohis. I should have looked up how to say these. Aphosis or something like that. Anyway, it's essentially the embodiment of darkness and disorder, and becomes the enemy of light. So essentially the enemy of Ra, the goddess of the sun and such. And it's usually depicted as a giant snake or serpent, and its head is made of flint, and it's usually dubbed the Lord of Chaos. So that's also a very cool name for a killer. And we also don't have a snake killer. I know they said they wouldn't do a spider killer, so maybe they won't do a snake killer. I think that's bogus, though, so I think they'll eventually get there. But a couple ideas for Egyptian killer. Survivor-wise, I mean, you could create your original survivor within this. With it being Egyptian, your cosmetic options are endless there as well. Again, with the map, you could adapt part of a current map or create a new one.
A pyramid map, maybe?
Oh, wouldn't that be cool? That'd be so cool. Or like a desert map or something. So I as someone who loves Egypt and Egyptian kind of that time period, I loved it growing up as a kid, and it's kind of carried on with me through my adulthood. It's just a really cool time period, and would love to see more of it in the game.
Yes, hear me out though. The map is a link in time at a pyramid. Half the map is in ancient Egypt, where it's all beautiful and lush, and the other half is present day, where it's very desecrated and ruined. The survivor,
I like that.
An archaeologist. The killer is Amen or Aphophis.
Yes, I'm down. I'm totally down with that.
Am I cooking?
Yeah, you are.
Good.
And you know what you could do? Instead of half of it being the modern side, you could maybe make the other half the museum with the artifacts and such.
Yes,
that'd be kind of cool. We'll have a museum map. That'd be kind of neat.
Oh my god! Wait, cool. It's Night at the Museum chapter.
But it's a museum chapter.
That or Indiana Jones.
Wait,
the pyramid. Found footage would be the pyramid. That one's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like archaeologists bring their camera into a newly discovered pyramid.
I saw that movie. Okay, I'm not gonna get into that because that's a whole topic. That movie was ass. I'm sorry.
No, it's terrible. It's amazingly bad.
I've not seen it.
I love the concept.
If you love the concept, check out The Tunnel.
Yes,
The Tunnel. Okay, I'll add that to the list.
That one's fun.
So that's my number 5. Stevie, we'll jump to you. What is your number 4?
On to number 4. For me, I kind of still had Mythos on the mind, and hearing you talk about the ancient Egypt chapter you want, I'm like, oh yeah. I want an ancient Sumerian chapter.
Ooh.
Sumerian deities and stuff were kind of pretty rad. The way they handled it was a lot closer to, how Babylonian and Greek stuff and Egyptian stuff was, because it's all in a similar geographic area. You get like the same animals to pull from. You get like the same type of lessons in their stories. They get passed down through the years. But the one that I like is kind of that original idea of like this protective Sphinx type character was the Sumerian Lamassu. It was basically just the head of a man with the big body of a lion or a bull. And it
Oh.
was usually just a protective deity, but to me, I think they were a lot more scary and vengeful. It's the idea of a big protective beast that, can help protect anything around you, but without people to worship it, it might be lost, or in the fog, it's just a raging bull.
Fallen God chapter
It'd be a
would be kind
lot
of
closer to
cool.
the animal.
Yeah.
But
Talked
when
about that
when I
last
think
week.
about angelic killers and things like that from the grimoire, I don't want it to be just a big flurry of wings and eyes. I want it
Yeah.
to be a god that's scorned. I want it to be something that's vengeful and scary on its own, not just how it
And-
looks.
And I don't think there's any better way to show the entity's true power than to take a god and turn it into
Ooh,
do
you're
its
gonna play
bidding.
hide and seek
So-
forever, Mr. Babylon. Ooh.
I'd
Yeah.
love for them to add a similar model of their own original killer that's something like a chimeric beast, where it is just 4 legs and a head, and it
Could have
runs
had that.
around.
People voted for Kimber.
Yeah, no. If people wanted it, it might be coming at some point. And I think you could definitely slap an Amit skin, slap a big Minotaur skin, slap a Lamassu together.
Like a giant dog skin.
I'd love that.
Big snug.
There you go. Yeah. Yes. And I think with the grimoire going on and the votes, they did have to craft those. So I think they have those kind of tucked away in a vault, and they'll return to those if they're not voted on. So I think there's absolutely the chance those will return and will be incorporated in original chapters later on.
This is for me probably the one I've had the least work thinking about. I just kind of would think it would be cool. Mm-hmm. I don't really have a survivor to go with it. It's hard to imagine one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could just be a paragraph. It doesn't need to have a survivor.
That's how I thought of most of mine. That's
That's
pretty
very
freeform. I'm not going to come up with the full list.
Yeah. Awesome. Maddie, what is your number 4?
So number 4 for me is an original concept, and specifically, it's a lore-heavy chapter. So this is already kind of done. However, I did include a killer option just because when it was just a survivor and a realm announced, I was like, okay, but I was like, I want more. So I would like another lore-heavy chapter, as many as we can get, please. So for my killer, I said anyone from the tomes because there's so many options, but I think my number 1 would have to be the spider people in little intermissions in the tome cutscenes. Because the observer in the tomes, I think around 9, he found some spider eggs and they started cracking and invading his tower. And they're just humanoid spider monsters that look pretty freaky. And everyone wants a
wow.
spider killer, so let's just add him. What's his name going to be? The Spider-Man. It's not Spider-Man from Marvel. But it's a Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, a new chapter.
Yes.
I was
Yeah,
unfamiliar
the
with
Venom.
these spider people. That's really cool.
Yes, but I feel like they could do a lot with the spider concept because people have been wanting a spider killer for so long. So I feel like it
Yeah.
would be a really good choice for a lore-heavy chapter. And there's so many avenues you could take the killer in. You could go for a more summoner route where he summons a lot of little spiders that disturb survivors and get them off objectives or maybe even hurt them under certain criteria. Or you could have a web slinging one where they can start putting string on a survivor, and if they can't break line of sight, they get rooted for a second or something. Or maybe they could have a deathslinger thing where they could pull people back, and if they get to them, instead of hitting them once, they could put a little debuff on them for the rest of the trial or something.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of avenues. For the survivor, again, I want anyone from the tomes, but my number 1 is still the observer. I've wanted him in the game since I first saw him. He looks so cool. He has so much lore. He has so much trauma. Let that baby girl flourish in the trials. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, I want him to have such a fucking bitchy name. I want him to
Yes,
be the most
Arnold.
clean. Yes.
But I would also be happy with Hattie's brother or the samurai girl from the tomes when Maurice was missing for the 8th fucking time. And for a map, I said any of the existing killers that didn't get them when the maps were getting revamped. So Blight, Twins, or Trickster. If I had to choose one, I feel like the easiest and the one I would love the most would be a desecrated French town for the Twins, just because I think it would be both very atmospheric And you have two realms I could go amazing in. Either the Red Forest, which I feel like is the right choice, or Desecrated Borgo, I think is the name of that realm, just because it's also kind of like medieval-ish, towny, and you could just have houses, because the one thing I hate is that the little castle map doesn't have any houses. It has one house.
Oh, yes, if we have, like, the Forbidden Hamlet. Decimated Borgo map.
Yeah, I like that.
You get it! You get
I see it, I see it.
But yeah, that's my number 4. Bryson, what's your number 4?
Great question. My number 4 is Jurassic Park. Y'all, I love dinosaurs. I was a dinosaur kid growing up. Jurassic Park, I had on VHS. I had all three, the first three on VHS. I tore those tapes up. Like, I love Jurassic Park. And I want to be clear. I want a Jurassic Park chapter. I do not want a Jurassic World chapter. The first Jurassic World movie is fine. The rest of them are butt. They're bad. Especially the most recent. It was really, really bad. I did not enjoy it. I want a Jurassic Park chapter. The survivors. It doesn't need a killer. I will say this. It does not need a killer. Survivors, Alan Grant, and Ellie Sattler. I would 100% main Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler in a heartbeat. I love those characters. Laura Dern and Sam Neill are wonderful people. I love them to death. They're just wonderful, and I want them in the video game. I want Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler as they would
In the video game.
in the video game. If there is a killer, I would imagine it would be the iconic Velociraptor, aka dubbed the Raptor. It could be a normal raptor, or it could be the Indoraptor from Jurassic World. I'm okay with them mixing that. That movie had some horror vibes there in the climax of the movie. If you've seen it, you know, kind of like a haunted house kind of vibe. For those of you who are saying, oh, why would the entity bring in a raptor? How would a raptor hook a person? Well,
What
if they go the
emotions does a
Indoraptor... Yeah, if you go the Indoraptor route, it has much more mobility and flexibility with its hands. It could easily do a Xeno grab. And also, you could make this argument with the Xenomorph and the Demogorgon. They are both essentially animals. They are from... The Demogorgon is from another universe, of course, another dimension. The Xeno is just from outer space. But they are still very much animals. So the entity could make any animal they wanted. I mean, hell, give us a bear. I'm cool with that. Like a big bear.
Oh my god, new killer.
Anyway.
The bear.
The bear.
Yes.
Anyway, but I would love a raptor. I think the cosmetic opportunities there are great. But the one thing that also needs to happen, if there is no killer, there's got to be the survivors. There has got to be a map. And if the map is not the Jurassic Park Visitor Center, I will burn this world to the ground. Jurassic Park is such an iconic location. We know it very well. It looks great. All the like 90s kind of colors and the logos, and I can see it in my head now. I want to loop a killer in that kitchen where the kids are running around with velociraptors.
Oh my god.
It would be so cool. I want that. I really want that. I want the mural that is in the dining room and stuff. It would just be so cool. This is something that people have been wanting for a while. Yeah, I want it. That's kind of where I'm left off. But what do you all think?
I think that's a really cool idea. I agree, though, that if they do that chapter, they have to have a map, because like the entire point of the movie is Jurassic Park as a location.
Yeah, it's a
where people can go
location.
see dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You need the park.
You need the
Yes.
park, exactly. I will say, though, the idea of a raptor to me as a killer is really funny. Not because it's a bad choice, but because either when it hooks you, the hooks have to be like close to the ground or have like a unique hooking system, or the raptor's just going to be straight up fucking balling like dunking survivors onto them.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I want to see it dunking survivors on the hook every single time.
That's kind of why I mentioned the Indoraptor. Like it's much larger than a normal raptor. So if you've seen it, it's like much longer and taller. So yeah, I think that would work better. But if it was a normal raptor, it would look a little goofy for sure.
Yeah. Oh my god, getting slam dunked by a raptor in the budget one.
Any thoughts, Stevie?
My brain is stuck on a hook build where you just run agitation on the raptor, so you're just running around really fast with the backpack build.
Oh, that'd be so good.
You get someone who knows
So
what's
good.
up, and they're like, "I'm riding the
Jeff
horsey."
Goldblum helped me kill Nicolas Cage.
No.
And your friends. Thank you very much.
So good. Yeah, so Jurassic Park's my number 4. Stevie, what is your number 3?
My number 3. I have pivoted now. This is where I kind of have my franchise dreams.
Ooh.
My first franchise that I'd like to see is Underworld. This is kind of, for anyone who's unfamiliar, a trashy franchise about vampires and werewolves from the early 2000s. And the main character is Celine. She's a vampire death dealer, played by Kate Beckinsale. And she basically just runs around with submachine guns and Matrix cloak and is a vampire. She's hunting werewolves.
I'm remembering this.
It's a fantastic movie. This is going to uncover memories for a lot of people. The movies do not hold up. The plot lines make no sense, but I think her character is really fun. So I'd love to see her. She's basically the moral actor out of the vampires. She's more human than all of them. She kind of does her job as a vampire death dealer, but to protect her family. So when she starts realizing that there's plots within her coven, she really seeks to root out the corruption despite like the hierarchy of this vampire sect that's been around for thousands of years and have done things the same. But, you know, people are exploiting that tradition to kind of power grab within the ranks. And she plays as kind of this person who needs to correct all the wrongs of the generations of vampires around her. And I think it's really cool how that plot line gets lost in the whole vampires versus werewolves guns shootout part of the movie. She'd make a fun survivor. She's athletic, she's hot, but she's kind of flat as a character.
The only thing I remember about those movies is like being, I want to say like 11 or 12, and then watching them when I was way too young. And then I think that was like one of the few times I was like, wait, women are kind of, you know.
Oh, I'm with you right there. Same boat. Getting to like revisit these movies later on is really fun. Because it's like I can live my life like her. I'm a superhero goth lady too.
Yes,
it's fun. I'd love to be Kate Beckinsale in DVD as well.
Who wouldn't want to be Kate Beckinsale?
Right. How many Underworld movies are there?
At least 5. I think there's 5.
Oh wow, there's 5.
So we've got like Underworld, Underworld Awakening, Underworld.
I was thinking
War.
3.
Wow,
that's crazy.
I guess I'm not caught up on the Underworld lore. Damn.
Yeah,
I didn't watch these.
It very much just turns into like a Romeo and Juliet type beat after like the third one.
Damn.
They're still pretty fun. The guy who plays Davy Jones in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies plays like the head vampire. So it's a lot of fun to see him act as another high-powered bad guy.
Yeah.
And he's not got the pirate accent.
And I've not seen a whole movie, but I've seen parts when I've got it on TV.
Of course, you flip on different channels.
Yeah, there are like werewolves. They're called lichens, right? In this world?
Yes, you have vampires and lichens. And the general plot line is that lichens used to be subjugated entirely by vampires, and then they sort of disappeared and got killed off. You know, mysterious plot lines. Wonder why they did. But then they sort of come back in the first movie, and that's the whole thing. Is we're trying to get the vampires to believe that that werewolves are back, and we must continue the fight against them, or else they will do a strike and take us down. But there's corroboration and secret plots. And
You've sold me. I did watch these movies. I will. You know what? This weekend I will binge Underworld.
Wow, so is that going to be our first assignment for the podcast? Watch all of Underworld.
If I make you watch Underworld, I make no claims that you'll enjoy it more than the first movie. So
I need a good
keep your plans to that
movie. I will binge this.
Well, I'll check it out. There being 5 movies, that's crazy. I thought maybe there was feeling like 3.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an investment, but yeah, great pick. I don't know these movies well, but totally fits DVD for sure. Maddie, let's go to your number 3.
So for my number 3, mine is a fantasy-inspired chapter. I don't think I've mentioned this on the podcast, but I'm a big D&D fan. I love playing Dungeons & Dragons. I'm playing a new campaign with my friends right now. Super excited for it. And when they announced the D&D chapter, I was really excited but a little hesitant because I was like, how are they going to do this? And then when they actually added to the game, I was like, oh my god, I love this. Except for the map. The map was a choice. Looks great, but playing on it, I hate it. I hate the 2 levels. Oh. Same. Anyways, For the fantasy chapter, I specifically want this to be original because I feel like there's a lot of unique ways to do fantasy. And I know there has to be a lot of world building involved to make this fantasy chapter really feel like a fantasy chapter. But I feel like Behavior could pull it off. However, I do have two big asks for this chapter, for the survivor and the map. For the map, I want it to be indoors because we've had an indoor map for so long, and I'm going to be honest, I feel like people hate the indoor maps a bit too much. Was Larry's objectively bad? Yes. Is the Demogorgon map also kind of bad?
Oh my god.
Are
Hawkins
they
is
fire
awful.
as hell? Fuck yes. Like, they're not really balanced, but I feel like with a lot of the newer maps recently, they have a bit more balance in mind, especially the FNAF map. I think that's one of their best maps ever. I feel like they could really pull it off for an indoor map. I specifically want a castle, but having like a dungeon would also be really cool. Like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of dungeon, if you know what I mean. Or like a cave, like an encampment or something. My other ask is that the survivor would preferably be not a human. Would this happen realistically? Hell no. Making a whole new model and like stuff for a survivor? Very hard. However, I feel like they could just use a human survivor but make them red and add horns. Or make them green and add tusks.
Yes,
Because when
they
I
could.
saw the
Bingo.
survivors for the D&D chapter, and I saw that it was a human and an elf, I was disappointed. I'm happy they made Aestri tall as a male and gave her the elf ears. It's just like a boring choice, though. You have so many
Yeah.
different fantasy races that you could pick from, and you chose the taller human. I'm sorry, I was disappointed. So I really hope if they ever do another fantasy chapter, they do anything that isn't just human adjacent. Like, a tiefling would be awesome, an orc. I wouldn't really like a dragonborn. I just think that would be too weird, but who knows? Maybe it would work. I don't know. But yeah, I would really like a non-human survivor that isn't just an elf. I know tieflings is not much better, but I think it would be awesome, and also tieflings are cool. And the map would have to be indoors for me, but I wouldn't mind it being outside. The killer, though, I didn't really think about who it could be. My only want is that it wouldn't just be a person. It would either be like kind of like a chimera, like an actual chimera where it's like the lion, the goat head, the snake tail thing. Or it would be like half a dragon or something, like maybe like a dead dragon, but like half of it is still alive and it's like crawling around
like
the
an
map or
undead
something.
dragon.
Yes, like half a dead. I don't know how to describe it, but like parts of, or it could be even like a dredge thing where it's like a bunch of dead bodies fused together into like a monstrosity. I just want something that's not just a dude named Frank holding a knife, being like grr. Like, you're gonna be world of fantasy where anything can happen. Please don't make it just a dude. I would hate it, the killer for fantasy chapter to just be a dude.
I want
totally
monstrosities.
That is my number 3, a fantasy chapter.
Yeah.
Make
I'm
it
totally
fantasy,
with you.
make it special.
Go ahead. Yes.
No, I
I'm
just
totally
love
with
the
you on
idea.
this. Same. I especially with, as you mentioned, the D&D chapter, we have an elf and a human, and I think they've mentioned they will strictly stick to humans mostly. Like, we have some slight variations, like the elf, like Gabe being
Gabriel
a clone.
Soma.
Yeah. So
Oh, he's a
but, like,
clone of
Yeah.
a human.
yeah, of a human,
Technically
but
not
still.
human.
Yeah, but like, what a weird for the entity to pull from so many dimensions, for it to limit itself to the suffering of humans,
Is
just
the entity
seems
xenophobic?
yeah, right. It seems silly. Like, what? Like, you're going to tell me it's not going to pull in like a intelligent alien species? Like, what if it's a dimension that humans don't exist in? Like, that just is so goofy to me. And like, it's like they're saying like, oh, these other beings. I know it's probably because they don't want to make models for them, like you mentioned.
Yeah, that would
but,
just be a hassle for one survivor.
yeah, like I don't. But I mean, if they don't do it that often, it can't be that bad. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I'm totally with you. Definitely more diversity in terms of the species of survivors we have. The killer, you know, that door is wide open for them to take in any route.
I
So-
mean, if we got
and-
the... Oh, sorry. I was just saying, if we did get
No, you're good.
Stevie's suggestion of Celine, we would have a vampire survivor, even though we technically already
Yes.
have one. It'd be a different
Right,
kind of
right?
vampire.
We already have an Alucard skin. Oh, that's a
That's
vampire.
True.
Well, technically he's half vampire. I think he's half vampire.
I mean, technically, we have like the ghoul-inspired skin for like Nia Carlson, but she's not like a ghoul. But she's like,
True.
She's just cosplaying as one. Wait,
yeah.
is that like species appropriation, or someone pretends to be like a ghoul? Is Nia
not sure.
xenophobic?
I think Nia's. I don't think so.
Nia, what are you doing?
Are we gonna cancel Nia right now, right here?
We are
Let's do
canceling Nia Carlson live on Red State Radio.
Yeah, she killed a mayor. She's chill. Well, corrupt mayor. Sorry, not all mayors.
Yeah, not all.
Right. Not all mayors. Great pick. I'm totally down for another fantasy chapter for sure, and something that is quite out there, I would say.
Yes.
Cool. It's me, right? I'm up
Yes.
next.
Yeah,
right?
what's your third?
My number 3 is sci-fi horror. I mentioned I'm really into sci-fi horror, and this one's been requested by not only me but many other people. I want a The Thing chapter. I want the killer to be the thing. I want it to be something cool and kind of like an Among Us mode. I would love it if instead of, I've always wanted a killer to introduce new game mechanics. I think that's always the most exciting killers, kind of like the side quest killers, where you have to kind of do something other than gens. I would love a killer that just shakes up, and maybe you don't even have to do gens. Maybe you have to figure out who is the thing among you. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool, but I totally get why they may not do this. And a lot of people are like, oh, they can't do the thing. A Swift will easily be able to identify who the killer is. I've seen ideas where it uses the dogs instead, like you have to save dogs and such, and you don't know which dog is the killer. That'd be kind of cool. And you have a bunch of like huskies walking around the map. That'd be kind of cute. Then you could pet them. That'd be nice.
Oh, finally.
And then I'd love the survivor to be R.J. McCready. If you've seen the movie, McCready's kind of like the main character. He's really cool in it.
I want any chapter where I can play as Kurt Russell.
Yes, right?
That's a dream.
Like,
any of his movies, please add them to DVD.
Like, what a goat guy. Like, he is just so cool.
His
and he's like in
characters
some
are
other
so
horror stuff.
sleazy, and he loves making horror movies.
Yes. Like, it's funny because I almost put Bone Tomahawk on this list. I decided against it just because I don't think there's enough meat on the bone there, pun intended. But he's that's a Western in there. That's a Western movie. If you've seen it, it's a horror Western. I highly recommend it. But he's in that movie. It's great. But he's in a lot of great horror movies. It'd be awesome to have him in the Thing chapter. And in terms of map, they could do something special with Ormond. Like, I think the Ormond Mine map version we have, it gives off the Thing map vibes for sure.
Exactly.
And
Totally feel you.
Yeah, they could easily throw in like a research building in there, or change Maine on that map to be a research kind of outpost. That'd be really cool. I'm pretty bare bones with this chapter, but like, I mean, everyone's wanted the Thing chapter forever, and I think Matthew Cote has mentioned, he has to figure out how to do that. I don't know how the license fits in that. I don't think it's as complicated as some other movies, but it'd be really cool to see, and I hope it's down the line.
Oh, that'd be so much good stuff within a Thing chapter. If it was original and they did do like an Among Us type killer, or if it was licensed, I think both would hit the nail on the head as far as thing we're missing in the game.
Oh, so cool. Yeah, just shake up that Survivor gameplay for sure. It needs it. Stevie, let's go to your number 2, right? We're on 2?
Number 2. This is
Number 2.
probably the license that I think would be the most out of left field, and probably one of the sillier ones. I want a House of the Dead chapter. House of the Dead is the classic Sega arcade cabinet with the light guns, where you point the light gun at the screen and you shoot the zombies, and when all the zombies are dead on the screen, you go to the next hallway and you shoot all the zombies and you go to the next hallway till you run out of quarters. But I want I want the characters from House of the Dead 4. They are kind of just really silly. They go together really well. They're just 2 agents. One of them is James Taylor, who you play as in the second game and the fourth game. and he's kind of seen it all. This is his second apocalypse, and he's ready to fucking do whatever it takes. And he's such a corny character, but he like keeps the momentum for the game going when you can't see the characters because you're playing as them and it's a first-person shooter on rails. So you have no way to look at your character except in cutscenes. But his partner in the game, Kate Green, is a new agent who's here to also save the world. And together, they kind of make this like cute little couple that's not like romantic or anything, but they're like on the job, here to save the world. And it's such a fun dynamic in all the House of the Dead games because they're always so cheesy. The original ones are incredibly batshit, and the dialogue is the perfect level of bad translation with terrible voice acting. You look up any House of the Dead clips, you're going to have a great time looking at the cutscenes, especially House of the Dead 1, 2, but I think House of the Dead 4 has the best fidelity as far as characters go. And if you take a look at them, I think they fit as far as just goofy characters who could run around.
I love this because this fits such a... It's not quite a video game license. It's an arcade cabinet license, which is really unique. And like, that's so cool. I've never thought of this. I never thought of an arcade license before, but it fits so well. Like House of the Dead is such a big, name. I think everyone has at least heard of it or played it,
Yeah, especially since, like, I feel like for the Survivor perks, at least, there's a lot of options you can do that don't only reference the original game, but also like arcade culture as a whole. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of cute.
Oh, I'd love that because my brain also went to the idea of, how if people really liked the Lara Croft DLC, maybe a Polygon Lara Croft would have come out.
Oh my God,
that's House of the Dead Polygon character would also hit. I want to see a low-res character in game. I want to see it. I want to see it feel like a video game for a second, kind of like how Metal Gear Solid will flashback to Old Snake, and then you're playing in Metal Gear Solid as Old Snake, but he looks like the low polygon one.
I agree to this only if her voice also gets like really run down in quality, where she sounds ugly. She's like, no.
I want that for Laura.
Yeah.
Love it. Awesome. Great pick. Maddie, you're number 4.
What's your number 2?
Or 2, my bad.
My number 2 is I really want Predator. I really want the killer to be a Yacha, obviously the Predator from the Predator movies. I think specifically it should be an original Predator. Because like I feel like taking from the first movie or any others, it would be cool, but I would prefer them as skins. I'd really love to see Behavior's take on an original Yacha and like what their dreams/goals are and what their greatest hunt is considered. And like, how are they okay with hunting survivors who can't fight back in the trials? Like, is the NC manipulating them? Or maybe they're like a twisted sort of predator where they don't really care about the rule of contact. They're like, I'm going to do it my own way. And because of my new god, they can't stop me. I'm just going to kill old people I want because I like blood or something like that. For the survivor, I specifically want to be Naru just because I feel like she's a lot more impactful than Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. And also, we haven't really seen him in a long time in the franchise. And I just feel like having like that First Nations people representation in the game would be really cool, especially with how Naru is also just a really cool character. I really like Naru. I really like Prey, the movie. So I want her.
So good.
And for the map, I think to tie everything together with the new Survivor from the new movie, we should have the OG jungle from the first movie. I think it would be really cool.
And I don't have much to say. This.
Just besides, I really think a Predator chapter is not a matter of if they'll do it, but a matter of when they'll do it. Because they already have Alien. They're going to be doing Predator. Hopefully it's soon. I'm hoping it's the licensed chapter
November chapter
this year with the 2 survivors.
Yeah. Oh, fingers crossed. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and jump to my 2 because my 2 is also Predator, and I'm in the same boat. Maddie, you mentioned you hope the Yacha is an original Yacha. I did not think of that, but I really love that idea. They could do something very unique because, each Yacha we've seen, if you're unfamiliar, the Yachas are the Predators. That's kind of their species name. That's what they're dubbed. every Predator we've seen on screen has a different type of mask. It has a different type of energy caster, which is their shoulder cannon, essentially. It has different types of weaponry, like spears or a gaffy stick or these thrower blades or a wrist blade. Like each Predator has a different set of weapons and utilities. And I would absolutely love to see Behavior's take on their original one. That's such a great idea. I love that you brought that up because I didn't even think of that. And we've seen so many, and I would just love to see kind of their own take. And I would imagine it plays similar to, it would have an invisibility cloak, kind of like Wraith, and it maybe have like a weapon wheel. That can switch from, caster, it's shoulder cannon. Maybe you have to do certain things to get the lock on right for a projectile, or maybe you have a close-up attack you could do with a spear.
Maybe a short-range, little heat-seeking, see-through walls type of Predator vision.
Yeah, God, we're cooking.
You need you get like a little indicator survivor, like you have 5 seconds before he can shoot you and hit you no matter what.
Ooh.
Oh, that'd be so. And you see like the 3 dots on your back. That would be so cool. That would be so freaking cool.
I think he should have kind of something similar to Dredge, where every 60 seconds he gets access to like infrared. Specifically, like I know they all see in infrared, but I want them to have like a moment where they have like the goggles or something, or put their mask on. And like any survivor that's moving, they get revealed. Because when they mentioned that being a possibility for Skull Merchant, I was thinking like, this is just a Predator. Give it to Predator. Come on, we don't need to give this to Skull Merchant. Ignore her.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, poor Skull Merchant. But yeah, I'm also with you with a survivor. Naru would be awesome. I didn't have a map selected for this just because I don't think there's all that iconic locations within the Predator franchise. But if it were a jungle, we don't really have a jungle, tropical jungle, anything in the game. It's all temperate forests. So yeah, jungle would be really, really cool. Yeah, or swamps. So yeah, they could easily do that. And maybe the Predator can like jump between trees and stuff. I don't know. Like,
oh god, that'd be terrifying.
That would be just kind of crazy. But yeah, I think Predator is inevitable. I expect it this year or next. Just especially since Predator's like really gearing up this year
with the new movie coming out this year, which I think is coming out at the same time.
November. Same month.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully we get that.
Yeah, it'd be very topical. Very topical.
Be unfortunate for that coincidence not to line up.
Coincidence?
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation on what November. Yeah, I know people have, the runnings are Resident Evil, Stranger Things, Predator, and I think I've seen Danganronpa as well.
I've also seen Danganronpa, and I'm so confused by that. Like, I
am too.
I get why people think that. But also, I have no idea how they implemented the game. Like, is a little anime girl gonna run around and like hit people with a hammer? I don't know.
I mean, I could get a couple friends into the game if I told them that was coming to it. So,
there you go.
I'll take it.
Yes, we'll see. Because I know the Danganronpa anniversary is in November, so a lot of people think that is happening. But we'll see. A lot of things falling in November. We will see. But man, DVD's got a lot of potential coming up. So. My number 2 was Predator, so we'll jump to Stevie's number 1.
Number 1. Yeah, this is probably my most thought-through idea for what I want added to Dead by Daylight. I've noodled it around for a while, and I've just been kind of proud of how simple and cute it would be. But my dream chapter is an original killer I've kind of cooked up in my own head. And thank you to everyone for sticking around this long. Because I've wanted to share this for a bit, but I think the game is missing like a pyromaniac killer. Somebody who uses fire. We don't really have anyone who's got a super destructive bend to them as far as killers go. A lot of them are like reluctant killers or twisted with supernatural powers, but I want somebody who's able to show you like, here's what a actual crazed human could do if they were given an infinite can of gasoline.
Twisted psychopath.
I want this to be just a generic guy killer. I love plain slashers who are kind of scary just because they're doing the most and they're actually just pushing the limits of what do you think a human could do. So I really want someone who's just crazed and really likes setting things on fire, because I think that would be a fun gameplay loop too. It would lead to really messy gameplay where chaotic and flaming loops are happening. People are in chases where survivors are screaming and running away from this blaze that's being fed by this one person. I've imagined their power as some sort of combo where on one hand they're holding a non-lethal sort of flammable substance. Maybe it's like fog juice. Maybe it's just plain gasoline that goes on surfaces. You know, like it could be like a cloud of gas. It could be similar to clown. It could be like plague, but more permanent, where if you hit a surface with the splatter, it sticks around for a bit. And the infection doesn't really hinder survivors much, but it sets up the killer able to ignite a whole area all at once when they choose to. They, follow you around the loop for a second and a half. You vault the pallet, they cover the pallet in gas, and then they spark a match or light their lighter. And then the pallet bursts into flames. And then the trail they created turns into fire. And you can't use this loop for a couple seconds as they close in on you. I've always imagined it would create like a good gameplay loop where a killer who's really good at setting up in the middle of a chaotic thing can get a lot of value out of disorienting survivors. I think the fire could have a great use on all the elements of Dead by Daylight. If we introduce fire to like these wood pallets, we can imagine them burning after a couple seconds of being ignited. I'd love to see something happen where if a survivor touches fire, they start screaming for a bit.
That'd be
putting
cool.
out your flaming head animation, covered in gasoline, sticky noise.
So then would survivors have like some maybe interactables to douse themselves in maybe water or such to prevent fire from catching
curious,
or embers?
Right? If it's something that would be fun for them to play around with, if they added certain counterplay, it would have to be something like a Freddy clock where you've immunized yourself to the blaze for a bit. Now the killer has to wait it out before they can really take you down as fast. Or something similar to a Legion, where now you're stuck in a mend animation where you have to stop, drop, and roll, or you'll take a health state. So maybe you can hold the window for a bit and, out of cover, put the blaze out. But I think this killer should be designed as one that can do a lot of damage over time. So you won't need as much counterplay if you can play safely and conserve your resources.
Seeing a killer throw gasoline and lighting on fire behind me sounds terrifying, honestly. Like that sounds so good.
I picture a mix of like Deathslinger and Trickster, somebody with like a big coat and a lot of laughing as they're doing what they want to do.
I'm going to burn you! Ah! That's me!
I love that.
Gaslighter!
The gaslighter. There you go, yeah.
That's kind of my baby in my head. I want a super crazy person who's using fire.
My God.
So cool. And the Pyromaniac is such a good title. That's a great title. Awesome. Maddie, let's get into your number
What's
one.
your dream?
Alrighty, number one. You two probably know what it is because I keep talking about it ad nauseum. But for me, my most wanted chapter is more of a killer, and that's why I want a werewolf killer. I want a werewolf killer so bad because for the longest time, I've always wanted the classic kind of like 3 main killers in the game. The first being a vampire, and we got Dracula from Castlevania. So I was like, yes, awesome. Frankenstein was my second, or like a ghost, and we kind of got that with Spirit with like as the ghost. And the Frankenstein, I kind of see it in Dredge. So I feel like kind of like that body horror, playing stuff together, has been covered. We have no werewolf. The closest thing we have is Blight and the cat thing skins that I don't like.
Yeah.
They're weird. And Blight... I'm sorry, no. So I want a werewolf killer. I don't care what the power is, I just want a werewolf. It doesn't have to be a wolf. It could be a werecat, a werepig, were-alligator. I don't care. We need a person who transforms into a terrible monster that isn't the Blight. Because that's more Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I want a werewolf-esque killer. And for the survivor, I have 2 really cool ideas. Well, I have 2 ideas that I think are really cool. Either it could be a monster hunter and like kind of like Van Helsing, or could just be straight up Van Helsing. Or it could be the killer not in their monstrous form. And they kind of feel really bad about killing people because they don't want to do it. But when they transform, they can't stop themselves because they have like this relentless taste for blood or something. And I think that can be really cool because I know people have been asking for a killer who's also a survivor and back and forth, or someone who was at one point a survivor and at another point is a killer. I think that could be really cool. For the map, I was really struggling, but I think like a small desecrated town could work. It could be modern, it could be like medieval, it could even be like Babylonian or like really ancient. I just think having like a small town with different houses, kind of similar to Lambkin Lane, but instead of being straight lines and rectangles, it could be a bit more curly, and where it kind of has like a curve, it could be kind of like a semicircle map. That could be kind of cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my number one most wanted chapter. Now, Bryson. Sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
I was gonna comment on the werewolf. I think a werewolf is. I also want a werewolf. That would be very, very cool. I've wanted like the traditional Universal monsters a little bit more lately that we've seen. So like the Mummy and such. So, but yeah, a werewolf would be amazing. I don't think it's going to happen in the Grimoire, unfortunately, based on what people have been voting for. But but I think this is a great idea. I love the idea of a monster hunter and the idea of the survivor being the killer, but not in werewolf form, is an exceptional idea. Like that's so cool and unique, and I wouldn't even have thought of that myself. So that I would love to see that. Really, great concept. My number one, last one of the night.
Let's hear it.
So again, back to sci-fi horror, y'all.
No way.
We've had Resident Evil, we've had Alan Wake, we've had all these other survival horror games. I want a Dead Space chapter. Dead Space has kind of long been dormant for a while. They had a remake in 2023, and EA didn't think it was a success, and now it's dormant again. So Isaac Clarke is in Fortnite, so behavior can definitely get
100%.
Get Isaac Clarke. However, I want this to be a full chapter. I don't want just a Survivor chapter. It's kind of why I was bummed a little bit about the Alan Wake chapter, but I understand why. They were kind of working early with them when Alan Wake 2 wasn't fully developed, so it's understandable. But yeah, the Survivor would be Isaac Clarke. Maybe in addition to Isaac, we'd have another Survivor, Ellie Langford as well. She's like his lover, and also she meets him in the second game if you haven't played it. But they become lovers eventually, and there's a whole love triangle in 3 that's kind of a hot mess. I'm currently replaying all of them. I'm in 3 now, and 3 is just such a big downside to
but you're loving the first 2 games. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I would hope they pull from all 3, actually, kind of like what they did with Silent Hill. So Silent Hill, they pulled from each 3 of the games, first 3 games. I would expect them to do something like this. So if not Ellie as a second survivor, definitely legendary cosmetic. And then the killer, I actually have a few ideas for the killer. On the surface level, they could just do the necromorph. They could do the hunter from the first game, which is the regenerative one.
Oh, that's your classic necromorph with the spiky arm and the super tall posture.
Gotcha. Type, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And if you shoot off the limbs, it regenerates. Not that survivors would be doing that, but that'd be really cool. The other option is, instead of it being the necromorph, you make it the marker itself. And if you're unfamiliar, the marker is an alien artifact. However, it can be replicated by humans, man-made, and it sends out a signal to replicate and control dead tissue. And that's how it creates the necromorphs. So if there's a dead body nearby, it can manipulate that and create necromorphs. It'd be really cool if the killer was the marker, and as you were playing, you don't play as the marker, but you're playing as different variations of necromorphs. So if you play the games, there's a lot of different variations, and as you injure more survivors, you gain another step within the necromorph chain. So for example, maybe you start as, there's a little guy called lurkers. They like have they're made out of usually infants or babies, and they have like these little tentacles, and they shoot at you like these 3 spikes. And then as you injure people, you maybe move up to, I don't know, a prowler or something, and they can like jump on walls and hit you with their tail, and then you level up to a slasher, and then you're there. So that would be kind of cool. I don't know, but it'd probably be the necromorph route. You'd probably be the slasher or the hunter route, but I think it'd be kind of cool.
Power, a great way to show off the different shapes of what the necromorph can come up with. Give it a evil within type of power.
Oh yeah, it'd be so cool. And like I know that seems like a lot of like modeling and stuff, so maybe that's not the case. And if that's not the case, then I would expect them to have the necromorph. You're just playing as the slasher, and maybe survivors have to go around and interact with markers that are giving off the signal to reduce its ability or reduce like hallucinations, which is something I would expect them to implement. The marker gives people like hallucinations, makes them mad, gives them dementia, things like that. So a lot of cool opportunities there. But Isaac Clarke is a for sure thing. I know a lot of people mentioned, they won't do Isaac Clarke because of his suit. They can't do that with his base outfit. In Dead Space 3, in the beginning of the game, he's in civilian garb. He's in like a jacket and jeans, and he has a rig on his back. They'd absolutely put that as his base outfit. And they'd have, I'm sure, maybe like original variations of his engineer suit, which is the one you see in the first game. Or maybe like his straitjacket outfit from the second game, which is really cool, which looks pretty basic as well. So, yeah, a lot of options there. Dead Space is my favorite game of all time, Dead Space 2 specifically, but the remake from 2023 is just phenomenal as well. If you've not played them, highly recommend them. Play 3 too if you're wanting more Dead Space, but just expect it to not hit the mark as well as the other two. And the map, I would love either two different maps. The Sprawl, which is the space station in 2. It's super dynamic. It's got a mine, it's got schools, it's got shopping centers, it's got a hospital, it's got all sorts of stuff. So they could do a lot there with the Sprawl or the USG Ishimura, which is where the first game takes place. What an iconic ship. It's dark, it's creepy.
Great atmosphere. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, just phenomenal. I would imagine they could do something similar to what they did with the Nostromo and make it a ship crash, but I think it just being on a spaceship in the middle of space would be really fucking unique and cool. I would love that. So, yeah, Dead Space is just so beloved to me.
I pray for is they don't include that little like baby area with the little baby necromorphs that like hug you and blow up. When I saw the clip for those when I was younger, I got scarred for like I hate those little fuckers. They freak me the fuck out.
That's from 2, and that's when you go through the preschool or the
preschool. The preschool.
It's pretty fucked up.
Gosh.
So. Yeah.
Little babies and I'm like, oh gaga, and then they blow up.
Yeah. They have like these little like explosive sacks on their back, and it's crazy. I love that game, and I think Dead Space fits. It absolutely fits. DbD, but also like it would join all those other survival horror games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill and such. So, and like the game is, we're not getting new games, which I'm bummed about, but I would love to see it in DbD. If we get it in DbD, I can die a happy man, many, many years from now. So,
Bryson, Stevie, what about Darth Vader? What about Star Wars?
Oh, my dream license.
James
Earl Jones, AI voice.
I must have Luke Skywalker and Yoda run away from Darth Vader.
Nah, that's fine.
Oh,
we could. No, I want our dreams. I want our dream chapters. I want our number ones.
Yeah. We'll have a discussion about Darth Vader
That's
in another episode. That's such a big bag. I don't want to open, or can of worms I don't want to open quite yet. But yeah, we'll have a discussion there. That's I have so many thoughts in that area. So we'll do that next week. We'll see. So that is our top 5 dream chapters. Before we kind of go into closing, Stevie, Maddie, do you all have any closing thoughts or comments you wanna bring up?
My top 5 are very malleable. If any of them happen, I'll be happy. If none of them happen, I'll still be happy. I'm pretty happy with what we have in the game already. I already have my dream chapter, so yeah, if we never get a werewolf killer, it's whatever. I'll cry about it. Whatever.
Oh no. Yeah.
I get you. I'm personally, I don't desire anything specific. I just kind of have my idea of, if I was in charge for a day, here's the dumb shit I'd set up. But if we get whatever we get, I'm going to be happy, need not, want not.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in the same boat. As you all probably have seen from my list, I'm very like on the license side heavy. I love the license chapters. I'm always looking forward to the next license, but I also love the original chapters. Like they can, those doors are always open to endless possibilities. So I'm down for more original stuff. But man, there's so many licenses that fit well with this game, and I'm excited to see what they can do with them. So.
Yeah.
With that is the end of episode 5. Our top 5 Dream chapters kind of worked out really well in terms of the title of this episode. Thank you all so much for listening. Remember, listeners, if you want to send us questions, you can email us at redstainradio@gmail.com. Send us in your questions, comments, ideas for future lore discussions. Tell us what your dream chapters are. Maybe we'll discuss more about those. Or give us feedback. We'd love to hear what you have to say about the episode or the show in general. In the meantime, share the podcast with friends or family members. We'd love to get more listeners. We greatly appreciate the support. Thank you, Stevie and Maddie. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you in the fog next week.
Thank you, Bryson.
Thank you, everyone. See you next week.
Bye, everyone.